Hey, it's me. I'm recording this in my car because Traveling Away is like the world's best channel. I don't know if I was just throwing signs or something. But anyhow, going a little stir crazy, but I'm gonna do my best to just give you some footage for Hackney. Love you, Hackney. To give you some footage for you to use to make the video so that we can describe to the sisters in a nice like format, you know, with lots of different people. How we feel about them, right? So I'm just gonna work on giving you some stuff to work with. But you know, I think the women of the Ivy chapter are just so important. It's like, oh my gosh, they're amazing. I mean, first of all, and this is more just for me, but it's completely true. I think a lot of times I relate to the sisters a lot better than I do the guys of the chapter. You know, but they're just so great. They provide like some manner of stability. Now, not too much stability, because a lot of the sisters of the chapter, women, whatever word, I mean, we're all pretty crazy at tech. Sometimes it feels like they're a bit of a like less insane kind of crazy, you know, which is good. It's kind of like a rudder, you know what I'm saying? But they're also like, well, I find them really relatable. Really like also sometimes, I mean, if I've got like this new hobby, they'll be like, Andrew, usually they'll run with it, which I appreciate, but also sometimes I get like concerned looks and they're like, Andrew, we care about you, which is why we're worried. And I'm like, that's wonderful. Boy, Hackney's really going to need to chop up this to get it to sound coherent. Without the women of the chapter, it would just not be as much fun to hang out. I think there's a lot of, how do you say, stuff in the Bible studies that I'm a part of, things like that. And I feel like they contribute like this huge amount of wisdom and insight into the Bible that I don't always get as a guy. And I think that's so good. There's things about like God that I don't always pick up on, and they're like, well, what about this? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I think it's just so helpful. I think, and the guys at the chapter are great, but I think the best job anyone's ever done, oh, that doesn't sound nice. Boy, this is going to need to be chopped up. Oh my gosh, I should have written a script, whatever. The women of the chapter are just like, they're just like, I don't know. It's like, you guys are asking me to use words. They're like, here, use words. Describe the women of the chapter. And I'm like, that quickly? Not even describe, but like, say why they're helpful to the chapter. It's being like going to someone who lives on a boat, and you're like, can you tell me why the hull is important? And it's like, I guess it's like kind of like, what am I even supposed to say? Like they're great because like, there's the fact that they're fun to talk to because they're always fun to talk to, and then there's the fact that like they're like I don't know what the word is, less insane sometimes than the guys. Like That's amazing, because I feel like sometimes they keep us from going off the deep end. Like, the women of the chapter are like, oh, what can I even say? They're like integral to the chapter. And I'm a math learning center coach, but they're more important than integral. They're like they're like the curve, but they're also the area under the curve. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I can't use math references. That's stupid. Well, that's not stupid, but it's confusing, and I don't want to have to explain. Because, like, I do that for work already. I don't want to talk about, like, more math right now. It's like, I think some of the best people, you know, like some of my best friends, not even so-called friends, but just friends, you know, are some of the women in the chapter. They're just great, you know. I don't know a group of people I would more rather hang out with than the people from IV, especially the women from IV. They're great. So it's like, I don't know. I'm supposed to tell you I'm supposed to come up with words that just kind of encapsulate what I think of the women of the chapter. Perhaps I should have written something. And if I thought about this for a really long time, I might come up with an eloquent poem or a like speech or something. I did a speech last year. That wasn't too bad. But now I'm like ranting because I don't have. You want words to describe what the women mean to the chapter. They mean like so much. It's like, okay, I'll go back to math references. Maybe this will work for you. The women of the chapter are like algebra. And you're like, what is he saying? I'm saying like, you're like, well, what do they mean for the chapter? I'm like, if you don't know algebra, like you can't do the math. Like it just stops making sense. And there's a lot of times actually that I've messed up on algebra. So don't look too deep into this analogy. But what I'm saying, and I hope you're not getting like distracted with, well, if the women weren't in the chapter, I'm losing my mind here trying to come up with words for something that's important to me. If the women weren't in the chapter, things just wouldn't work like they do, you know? It would just be different. It would not work. It'd be like trying to do math and then being like, oh, but you can't use addition. It's like, what? Like, that's like, You know what I'm saying? You know? Words, I've heard it said that words are the closest to magic that we ever come, you know? And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know whatever incantations I'm supposed to use to conjure up an image of why the women are important to the chapter. They're just like super important. I'm losing my mind from quarantine. I'm stuck here. I came into a car so I can yell at a camera. Actually, I came into the car for ambiance because I'm used to talking to people in the car. And now I'm just yelling because what am I supposed to say? What do you want from me? What words sound like what? You want some like Hallmark, like the women of the chapter are most amazing because they're not only smart and they're funny and wise, but they're also really beautiful, which is, I mean, yes, but that's like what, it's 5-word thing trying to describe what am I supposed to say? Like, they're just great. I don't know. I'm like freaking out because you ask me to describe the women of the chapter, but they're great. I mean, they're just so important. It's kind of impossible for me to imagine a chapter without them, which is part of why it's so hard to describe how important they are, you know? They're like the Lake Superior to the Keweenaw Peninsula. You know what I'm saying? Without Lake Superior, the Keweenaw Peninsula wouldn't have very good snow or temperature regulation, and it wouldn't be very nice looking either because there'd be no nice lake. And there's no mountains in the Keweenaw, so it's like the lake's what it's got going for it, and the snow. That's a really weird analogy. Anyways, yeah, I'm just going to stop trying here. It's obvious that with words right now, I'm not going to describe really how important the women are to the chapter. I could just try. It's like throwing a candle into a dark room and being like, this is what's important. And people are like, your candle went out when you threw it. Because you can't throw candles. Darn it. What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to... You know... My hope here is that the women of the chapter, you know, they do my handshaking. I'm just so riled up right now. I just, you know what I'm saying? It's like the old saying, you can plant a tree next to a growing stream, but you can't expect a brick house to be built in Rome in 5 days. The heck does that mean? I have no idea what I'm saying anymore. The women of the chapter are important. Very important. More important than what am I going to compare them to? I can't just like say, well, they're more important than the guys, because that would make a significant portion of the chapter riled up. So I don't want to rile people. But like, for being honest, I won't say anything. I'm sorry. You're probably all super confused right now. I'm super confused right now. The women of the chapter are important. Do you want an Altoids, man? I know. It's been a tough conversation, and I think they would be helpful. Here, if you want one, I'm gonna go for this one. So, oh. Looks like I need to go. I hope that was really simple and clear for you guys. Thank you so much, sisters of the chapter. You're wonderful. Have a nice day. Stay awesome. Ooh. That Altoid was really good. Yeah, it was good. Have a nice day.